You are listening to And Shit with Quincy Lanier and
Monie Mitchell-Sims.
Two best friends talking about whatever.
This bitch says it's recording again.
There's badge.
Oh, man. Where's my... now my energy is just like... it just sucked all the energy out of me.
Oh, wow.
So...
you gotta say hi.
Hey, Monie. I got that damn part. It's like 33 seconds of it. Oh, just ask me how I'm feeling today.
Hey, Yellow Man. What's going on? How you doing? Come on, I upgraded you to a man. You should feel better about that.
I would if our last conversation that lasted for 45 minutes was recording. So, here we go again. For you guys that don't know, we just recorded 44 minutes of a conversation, and I only got the first 33 seconds. Yeah.
I mean, well, technically, I got all of my half of the conversation.
Yes. Yes. So we will be using that. And I guess I got to start telling you my damn week all over again. Motherfucker. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Oh, man, pull back the curtain on how things get done around here.
I'm keeping it real. I just have to keep it real because all of my energy and my spark that I had earlier is basically depleted. And we are, recording again. Now it's recording. Now the little bitch is recording. I see the little fucking red light now. I don't even know why the fucking red light went off in the first motherfucking place. Oh, my gosh. Sorry, people. I mean, I know you're just tuning in and you're probably somewhere on your way to work, and I'm dropping all of these MF bombs.
Yeah, they might be like driving their kids to school, Quincy, so.
Why your fucking kids listening to and shit anyway? You know this ain't family friendly, okay? You know this.
No.
So anyway, now that I've just gone complete hood on everybody, I was saying earlier today that I was feeling very cultured and very bourgeoisie and feeling very, very intellectually and culturally enriched these past weeks. Yeah. Because I've been attending these wonderful, wonderful artistically and culturally and intellectually enriching events, which I rarely do. Yeah. Was a lot of adjectives?
Yeah. No,
because that's how I feel, okay? I feel like a lot of adjectives.
Describe yourself.
Describe myself. Mm-hmm. I already did, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I was just saying go ahead.
Oh, I was like, more? You want more? Supercalifragilistic. No. As I was saying, even though you guys didn't hear this,
they didn't hear it, Quincy. Just keep talking.
I know. Let me talk.
Let it go. Woo-sa.
Relax.
Woo.
Release.
Woo.
Okay. Well,
why are you feeling cultured, Quincy?
I'm feeling cultured, Monie, because I went to see a play at the Wallace Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts in Beverly Hills, and I went to see a one-man show called Emergency by writer, poet, actor, singer, spoken word artist Daniel Beatty. And it was absolutely amazing. Like, Daniel blew my mind. He other than the piece just being extremely topical and powerful, he played so many characters, and I was so impressed with how quickly he just changed at the drop of a dime. Like, he just went from one character into the next. He went from like an old lady to a professor, from a professor to an African priest, from an African priest to 8-year-old black girl from the hood, to a teenager, to this flamboyantly gay character, to this diva, to this thug to I mean,
Wow.
he played characters across the gamut, and it was just really good to be in the space of theater amongst these really talented artists.
Yeah.
So that's what started off my month, I would say. Started off my month with that, like the week before last. And then this past week, our friend actor Terrell Tilford, he's also an art curator, and he owns a gallery in West Adams called Band of Vices. And he had an opening this past week that was co-curated by Angela Bassett
Wow.
for artist Shell Barber. Her work was co-curated by the legendary Empress diva, unaging Angela Bassett herself. And it was amazing just to be in the space of this great art and amongst all of these really, really amazing people. Just the intellectual conversation and the creativity that was just in the air was thick. Plus the AC wasn't, really working, and it was just a lot of black people, so it was thick and hot anyway.
Right,
we carry
right.
heat. We carry the heat. We bring the heat.
We bring it.
Where two or more of us gather, shall there be heat.
Shall there be sweat?
Yes. And frankincense and myrrh and patchouli and oils and just,
And
our
cocoa
people.
butter.
Our artistic people. It's like Shea Butter City, Shea Cocoa Butter City.
Yeah.
But no, it was beautiful. Everybody was just gorgeous and beautiful, and it looked like I had stepped into Wakanda, and then the Queen of Wakanda walked in with all her ageless beauty and glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angela is just an anomaly. She's creepily beautiful.
Yeah.
I say she's creepily beautiful because we know black don't crack, right? We always say that. Black don't crack, it don't crack. But Angela, you need to be wrinkling a little bit of something, because now it's concerning. It's like, wait a minute. When you were 50, and it was like, look at Angela, you go girl. But girl, you look bad. Look at this. Look at that woman. She looked like she just came straight out of the womb. Now you 60. And now I'm doing double takes because I'm trying to find the 60. And I don't even see the 45. So, and I don't see any evidence of any nip tuck. So she's sacrificing somebody's missing children. I'm just saying, Angela's got to be sacrificing. So when y'all looking on the back of those milk cartons, we better want to know where all these little black girls is going missing in Atlanta. Angela Bassett. That's my new conspiracy theory. The new conspiracy theory is Angela Bassett sacrifices babies and young girls for youth. Shit.
I think there might be some truth to that one.
I don't know. But if she has had any kind of nip and tuck, I wish she would recommend this professional to the rest of these people out here in Hollywood who are nip tucking and all looking like freaking cat people. They look perfect. No, you look imperfect.
Wow, you can really roll your R's.
Oh, I got that Latino in me. You know what I'm saying? I roll my R's like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I can do that, right? You know what I'm saying, right? It's imperfect. No, because I'm telling you, because you compare like Angela Bassett to, let's say, a Madonna.
No, let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
No,
but I'm
please
just
not.
saying.
I know.
They're around the same age. They're both divas. They're legendary divas. One's a singer, one's an actress. But Madonna, she's starting to look like a Catwoman.
Well, they call her Marge, right? So
I don't know.
Yeah, they call her Marge.
She looking a little feline in the face. And I don't know what it is or who the doctors are. I just feel like if you want to augment your facial reality and you can afford to, if it makes you look better and it makes you feel better, do you, boo? Do you? Just don't look like I'm going to have to save you from a shelter because there's too many cats in the house.
For $9 a day.
You look, you look feral, okay? You're looking a little feral. You're not looking human any longer. It's not cute. It's not cute. So do less. Do less. You know what they say? moderation. Less
is more.
Less is more, people. Less is more. All of that extra Botox, do a little Botox. If you got to do it, do a little. Just remove a couple of wrinkles. Because when you don't have any wrinkles, your face don't move. And you look like a robot in the face. Like it's like, where's the life? Do you have Bell's palsy? Your face looks fat and plump and swollen. Are you suffering from lupus? I don't know what's happening here. Your lips look too big. Do you remember in Living Color?
Yeah.
Do you remember that Jim Carrey character? Vera.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Vera. And do you remember when Vera took a hot curling iron? And
what?
She took a hot curling iron and put it on her lips so that her lips could blister.
No, I don't remember that one.
And that's what these people look like with all these lip injections. They look like Vera, and they just kissed a hot curling iron. That's what they look like. But anyway, back to Angela Bassett. She's just amazing. This is my third time seeing her in person, and when I tell you, she looks airbrushed in person. She's like a walking beauty filter from Instagram. Like, I wish you would take that filter off, woman, and let us see your real wrinkled self, because I know it's there, right? It's got to be there. You can't be that perfect.
Well, I'm sure her husband sees it. I'm sure her husband sees it with the mask on and the curlers and the hair.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm right up in the lady's face taking pictures with her. Ain't nothing wrong with her.
No, but that's because you see her out in public. Probably at home, she's a hot mess.
It's impossible.
I don't think so. Everybody's a hot mess at home.
Yeah, we can be a hot mess, but she is like a warm mess, if anything, at home. Like, Angela Bassett cannot be a hot. She's too gorgeous. She's
Gorgeous
one of those people that I think she's one of those women that even when she like washes off that makeup and just lets her hair be what it is, she's just gonna walk around looking still naturally beautiful. You know, because they do the contouring and that's some special effect shit that's going on right now. I've seen these videos where these girls who look like a completely different person repaint their face.
Yeah, it's kind of frightening.
And you're like, that is not you. You work for the FBI, clearly. This is some Mission Impossible makeup shit that you're doing here. This is top secret. Y'all done let the secrets out.
I saw a video of this guy who did it. This guy, he was able to change his face into like divas. He became Cher.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Celine Dion. That's scary that a dude could do it.
That makeup is, I mean, like, it went from regular pedestrian makeup, I guess, to like fine arts, special effects makeup artists that are just now, that's what you do. That's how you step out of the house. You step out of the house in like a whole new face. Like, you can just become a whole new character. You can play 4 or 5 different people within a week if you know how to do it with the makeup. Like, it's creepy. But I don't even know why I went on that tangent. So what's been up with you, girl?
I went to one of the strangest cities on earth. That's where I went.
Strange as in
Denver. Denver is a very unique place. It's different.
Okay.
Yes, me and Gina and my sister, we take sister trips every year, people. And we've done some of everything. Hot air ballooning, fly fishing. We rode horses. We've done it all.
Well, that sounds very Caucasian of you both.
Living life. Two black women going to the strangest places alone.
Sounds very white adjacent.
So we ended up in Denver. Sister got a cheap Southwest tickets to Denver. Southwest actually has come up. That's a whole nother conversation, but Southwest has come up. So getting to Denver, only thing I had in my head was John Denver, Rocky Mountain High, and then Mork and Mindy, because Mork and Mindy was based out of Boulder, Colorado.
And today's old ass reference is brought to you by Monie.
Why I remember that, I do not know, but I was raised by the television, so that's why I remember it. So when Gina said, let's go to Denver, I was like, oh, okay. So we get to Denver, and it was not what we were expecting.
What did you expect?
Well, I mean, it was urban, but it was a weird type of urban. We were staying, the first hotel we stayed in was downtown, and a lot of these old buildings had been retrofitted into hotels, so they weren't typical hotels. You know, like our room was facing a parking garage.
First class, bitch.
So we were looking into people's cars. Yeah, we were looking at people's cars. And I was like, okay, this ain't the business. So we went out. And I didn't know, you had brought this to my attention. I did not know that there was an opioid epidemic in Denver. Whoever is doing Denver's press, you know, kudos to them, because that has not gotten out to the rest of the world. But we went out, ventured out for something to eat because we got in around 11:30. And we ventured out and was only maybe 2 blocks from our hotel. But I kid you not, those 2 blocks were like, we were in the music video Thriller.
Yep, the night of the under 25 living dead.
Yes. Oh my God, they were everywhere. Everywhere. And it was kind of disconcerting because you don't expect it. I mean, it's a very clean city otherwise.
It's beautiful there.
With the drug epidemic that's happening and the homelessness and a lot of mentally unstable people on the streets, you know, it was just like, wow, it was really kind of hard to take in. And that was at night. But during the day, daytime Denver downtown is amazing. I mean, you're walking around, there are bookstores, and, you know, it's a very walkable city, very beautiful city, a lot of markets, open markets and things like that. So if you go to Denver, just make sure you don't go out at night. Go during the day. So sister and I, you know, we were like, okay, we did Denver, and then we changed hotels and went in another part of Denver. And that's the cool thing about Denver. It's like every 5 minutes is a different area. You know, where we were was very urban. And then we went 5 minutes, I don't know my directions, 5 minutes the other way. And it was like suburban land. You know, they had like Neiman Marcus and all these high-end stores. It was like being on Rodeo Drive, 5 minutes away from where we were before. And the hotel still wasn't good, but they had all these huge houses and beautiful mansions and stuff like that. It was like a completely different feel. And one thing we try to do whenever we go on our trips is to find the black people, which was hard to do in Denver. It was hard to do. But I found a little enclave. And I was like, okay, sister, we were driving around. I said, sister, I feel the black people are around here somewhere. And as soon as I said that, I saw Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Uh-huh. Of course. It's the beacon of blackness.
And the railroad tracks. I said, found our people. Figured it out. We went to Denver expecting mountains, right? And hiking and stuff like that. And we didn't have a view from our hotel rooms. So we drove 45 minutes to Boulder, Colorado. And Boulder was beautiful.
Now, I haven't made it to Boulder. I hear it's very kale, pumpkin spice, and chia seed. But beautiful.
Yes. It is gorgeous there. Very scenic, very extremely rich.
Oh my God.
That's a very wealthy city.
Of course. There's always beauty where there's stolen and hoarded land and wealth.
Yeah, you would have loved it there. You would have loved it there.
Sounds
Very
like my
city.
bougie side would have just loved it, darling. Loved it.
Yes. But we found a mountain and we just kept going up and up and up. We finally got to see the mountains, everything we imagined Denver would be. And then after that, we just came back to Denver and just relaxed and had fun. But it was just, it's such a unique place, very weird and strange place. And I'm used to being a minority. You know, we live in California. We're not the majority here. But to not see any black people.
Teaspoons, stirring cups and shit. Get out.
And then the ones we did see, it was like, you know, Roots, like the reunion. Like we were so happy to see each other.
Really?
It's just a very unique place, you know, and I don't know any black people from Denver, but, you know, Tamiko says she has some friends who are, and I want to talk to them and find out, like, where were y'all at? Because I didn't see many of us.
So you talking about Denver, looking for black people, right? So it just made me think of something. And you said that when you found black people was like you found Martin Luther King Drive. Two things came to my mind at that point is, why is MLK streets segregated? Does that make any sense? Like, it was Martin Luther King. His whole legacy was about uniting black and white and everyone.
It makes perfect sense, actually. I think it makes
But his
perfect
street
sense.
only exists on the black side of town.
Yeah, that's where the white people wanted it to be.
It's just like
They weren't trying to honor him because of integration we shall overcome. They were just trying to put up a street sign, and they put it in a black neighborhood already, so they could say they did it.
It's almost like a backhanded compliment.
It is. That's exactly what it is, because I've never seen a Martin Luther King Boulevard in a nice neighborhood. They don't exist. They're always in the hood.
MLK Drive should be a drive that goes across a whole city. It should go through every possible community and neighborhood that exists, and that, symbolically connecting everyone in a city. The fact that it stops before it hits a white neighborhood, it was almost like, yeah, that's how we're going to honor that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what they meant to do. So it did exactly what it does.
We're going to segregate it.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Speaking of Martin Luther King and being cultured, yes. I also went just recently to UCLA to see the Southeast Symphony. It was my first time ever attending a symphony.
Oh, okay.
And it was amazing. The Southeast Symphony did a show called Revolution Resurrection. And it was basically dedicated to the legacy of Martin Luther King.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of funny that you brought up segregation and Martin Luther King, and that was part of my whole, my bourgeoisie past couple of weeks.
So tell me, has all this culture and going out to see art and stuff, has it inspired you at all? Lit a fire under your ass at all?
It has, but let me tell you how this one inspired my ass. First of all, I have to say it was one of the most moving experiences that I've had, right? The opera singers, the classical music, they brought in these classical composers from the UK as well. I don't know classical music that well. I just know some of the compositions of like the old compositions that mostly everybody knows.
Yeah.
This show kind of covered the different periods of Martin Luther King's work, of each period in his, short life and what was going on. But they had Jacob Lusk from American Idol, and I don't know if you've ever heard Jacob Lusk sing.
No.
Okay, Jacob Lusk, oh my gosh, that boy, his voice is nuts. And why did they have him sing Strange Fruit? He sang Strange Fruit with a symphony.
Oh.
And on the screen, while he was singing and they were playing, they were flashing the names, because they opened it up with like a video intro, and the video intro was about Emmett Till. And how that also had an effect on the civil rights movement and how it affected the public perception of what was happening to African Americans across the country. And they tied it into what is continuing to happen in the community today, and about how Strange Fruit was written about lynchings.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he's singing this stirring, emotionally stirring version. I've never heard this song sang like this ever before. I wish I could have recorded it. But when I tell you tears, and I had to stop reading the monitors, just listening to him sing the lyrics to that song along with this symphony was heavy. But on top of it, like, you're seeing, Sandra Bland, you're seeing all of these names. It was so moving. And the rest of the night was just as incredible. And all the singers that came out, these opera singers, they had some moments where they did they brought like a gospel choir that sings more of like a traditional classical black gospel sound. It's very operatic.
Yeah.
And then they brought out, like famed opera singers as well. So it was just a great night of music. It was so amazing. And then they had this wonderful after party. But at the end, the conductor turned to the audience and said that he wanted us to sing this song along with him. And it was Lift Every Voice and Sing. And they had the lyrics on the monitors. So we're singing with this choir, with these gospel singers, with these, classical singers. Like, everybody was on stage at this point. Everybody they had brought out throughout the night was on stage and was singing Lift Every Voice and Sing with the symphony.
Right.
So ridiculously beautiful. And then the audience joined in we had to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing when we were kids in my schools. I don't know. I had this discussion with some people before and who said that they didn't even know anything about Lift Every Voice and Sing. They just sang the national anthem every morning.
No, I sang it in my school.
I think it was a Midwestern thing.
I think so too, because I remember when I was in high school and we sang it at some event, and I went with my my third stepmother. Whole nother conversation. But she was Puerto Rican and she was from the Bronx. And when, they started it and everybody stood up, right? And she was still sitting down. And so I looked at her and she stood up, and then she was still confused. And she was like, "What are you doing? What's happening?" I said, "We're singing the Black National Anthem." She said, "The what?" And it echoed through the whole hall because it hadn't started yet. And then we started singing it. And then afterwards she was like, "I have never heard that song in my life." I was like, "Really?" So I'm thinking you're right. I'm thinking it was a Midwestern thing because she was from the Bronx, New York, and she had never, ever heard it before.
Yeah, but I know African-American people who don't know the song and never sang the song growing up.
Even from the Midwest?
Not from the Midwest.
Right.
Not from the Midwest. Most of us from the Midwest, we all say the same thing. Like, oh, yeah, when we had to sing that, we would do the Pledge of Allegiance first, and then we would sing the Black National Anthem. And that's how every day of school began for us. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, we were only taught like the first verse and chorus.
Oh, yeah, it gets deep. It gets real deep.
It's a lot. And it's like so much that I didn't know. And so I'm laughing because I'm up, I got my hand over my heart, and I'm singing along with everybody else. And then they started going into those unknown verses. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize the song was that long and it had that many verses. So just so happened that there was this lovely, lovely non-African American couple sitting behind me who I connected with during intermission. Mm-hmm. And it was a little white boy and his girlfriend, and they were going in over the singers. Like when the people were hitting those notes and doing those runs, and like he was moved. They were definitely appreciating this black. And by the way, the orchestra was an African American symphony. Mm-hmm. He's like going in, and we connect and we talk during intermission. We're singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. And at the end of the show, we're all outside. I go up to them. I see them sitting there waiting for their friend. And I go over to them and I'm like, wasn't that just amazing? And they were like, yes, man, it was just so great. So we're having this great conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then I brought up Lift Every Voice and Sing. I was saying, I have to go home and learn the rest of the words to that song because I only know the first few verses in the first chorus. Mm-hmm. And his girlfriend was like, yeah, me too. I was like, wow, okay. All right, white girl knows Lift Every Voice and Sing. And she was saying, yeah, that song has a lot. It has a lot more to it that most people just don't know.
Yeah.
And I said, I know. And I was up there like, oh, okay, what are these words? And then he looked at me and he said, I know, right? Like watermelon, 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 watermelon.
Oh.
Monie.
Why do you have to ruin it? What? See, he got too comfortable.
He literally looked at me and said, yeah, I know. Like watermelon, watermelon, watermelon. What the fuck? I look, my mouth was agape. It was just like door ajar. My jaw dropped, and immediately his girlfriend, first of all, I think she was taken aback by his response, by him saying that.
Yeah.
And she tried to find a polite way to get the hell out of there. Mm-hmm. And she tapped him on the shoulder and she said something, and she was like, oh, it was nice to meet you. And then she quickly whisked him away, leaving me standing there in complete, utter disbelief, in shock. And I turned and looked at DeAndre. He just shook his head. He's like, I can't. And I just cracked up laughing because that's all I could do. All I could do was laugh because I was like, what the? Because I didn't know what I was supposed to feel in that moment. Because this is the same guy who I just had this really great conversation with earlier. I had this great connection with them. They were so nice. I mean, they felt with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were down. They felt like allies. You know, I just felt like, no, these are allies right here. These are great people. And I think in my head, it was all kinds of like computations and calculations that was just going through trying to figure out what integer goes here, how to do this mathematical equation. Do I add first? Does this inside the parentheses, outside of the parentheses? Like I was trying to figure out, how do I solve this, what just happened?
I think you were just impacted by the racism spectrum.
I think it was just pure...
What? What else could that be?
I think it was pure ignorance.
No. I think...
I honestly don't think the guy was racist, or he's racist.
No. What I mean by racism spectrum is that I think that all of us fall on the spectrum of racism, and you're either just a little bit got some biases or prejudices, so you might be further down the line, or you're just a KKK member, right? It's like there's levels. And
this is what I think.
See, I'm sure you're giving this more thought than he has, but go ahead.
This is how I had to explain it to myself and to DeAndre. I think watermelon, and please, people, let us know if you've heard this before, is something that you mouth when you don't know the words to a song, so that it looks like you're singing. And I think that's what he was saying, because we didn't know the words because it just doesn't make sense for him to bust out and say watermelon. That's the only thing to me that made sense.
Have you looked that up? I've never heard that before.
Because I know, like, instead of saying I love you, if you say olive oil, it looks like you're saying I love you. And so I'm thinking, like, repeating watermelon in a choir, you probably look like you're singing the words to a song. But it was 100% absolutely tone deaf. And that's what I mean by he was ignorant. Because I don't think he meant it in the way that it came across. But I don't think he was aware in that moment that, we're talking about the Black National Anthem. I'm talking to a black guy, and the first thing that comes to my mind about not knowing the lyrics is the word watermelon.
So maybe he's a tone deaf racist.
So...
That could be on the spectrum like a 0.1.
I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just was like, okay, all right. She got him away quickly, because I think she knew in that moment I had just been stunned, and that they had only a few seconds to leave before it actually processed and turned into something that it shouldn't have. I think she realized that, oh my gosh, we just stopped time for 5 seconds, and now let me get him out of here, so when this guy comes to, we've disappeared. Well, I guess we should sing a damn song.
I guess so. We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing," because
oh God. Okay.
we need unity.
Oh my God. I gotta look up the lyrics.
Oh,
so sad.
See, like I said, we don't know all the words.
I don't know. I just feel bad we messed this up.
All right. I'm gonna sing it like they did at the opera.
Okay. Well, we're about to mess it up. Let's go.
You ready?
I am.
All right, Monie. Since we spoke about cultural enrichment, Martin Luther King Drive, segregation, strange fruit, and watermelon, I think it's only fitting for us to sing the Negro National Anthem.
Negro.
And although it's the Negro National Anthem, it calls for unity amongst us all. Are you ready?
I am.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky.
Sing it, Quincy.
Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Sing a song full of the the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on
till victory is won.
And
Shit.
ooh, we're going to hell. Be sure to listen next week to And Shit with Q and Monie.
You can follow Quincy Lanier on Instagram and Twitter at Q Lanier.
And you can follow Moniece at Moniece Mitchell Sims on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to And Shit.